Is the Banshee any good in patch 5.2? You asked for more Spooktober units. Something I didn't do in the past was go deep into the hero units, basically because of low familiarity with the faction hands-on. Let's fix that and get into the nitty-gritty with the Ghostly. Nominally recruited for 1000 gold, which is probably wrong in practice, but from which we get 250 upkeep. The Banshee comes on Ultra Unit scale with 4226 health base. Armor is 0, 55% physical resistance in classic ethereal fashion. Thus, magical attacks, or lack thereof, is like night and day to a Bram Stoker version vampire. Leadership 45 is just not high, making for frequent crumbling concerns. Probably this is going to get addressed in a future patch. Speed of 60 and charge speed 68 are shockingly good for a so-called foot unit. Melee attack begins at 50 and is magical attack, murder to other ethereal units, and inflicts the frostbite minus 30% speed status. Attack interval is 4, but splash target size is small, so infantry only, and a maximum target splash of 3, which might be the lowest I've ever seen for a character. This truly is a duelist. Melee defense starts at 45, not exactly awesome. Weapon strength is 290, split between psych! It's all armor piercing here, just like with Sirens. Charge bonus of 35 is decent for a foot character, and mass? Yeah, I know. Mass is officially 400, quite low for a character in current era. Besides the gliding over ground animation, the unit is of course undead, with the attendant crumbling and disintegration issues, has the standard Encourage aura, inflicts both fear and terror, and can hide in forest. As an embedded hero, this is the Count's increased mobility hero, which is marvelous. Stimulate Growth is an interesting map passive because they sure aren't priests. Damage walls, assassinate, and block army are an interesting trio of agent actions, since as you are aware, vampire counts don't use artillery as a rule. Specialist as usual reduces the cost of these actions. In the top line, Ghostly Howl, available at rank 6, adds plus 5 melee attack. Grave Ward, available at rank 10, adds 10% missile resistance. Everything else is the yellow line, but this is more like Witch Hunter stuff in reverse, not Empire Captain. Bloody Blade starts us off with plus 10% weapon strength. And that's all armor piercing, remember. Gutter Fighter is our plus 12 melee attack at 3 pips option, always a strong one, definitely strong here. Elusive is our plus 12 melee defense at 3 pips option. Precise adds plus 20% weapon strength at 3 pips, which is fantastic. Fleet-footed adds up to plus 15% speed at 3 pips. The midline point, oddly enough, is a map passive, adding plus 12% campaign line of sight. Opportunist adds up to plus 15 charge bonus. That's not much in a way, but hey, charge bonus 50 is good, and, that's for a foot character. Counter Striker offers another melee attack plus 12. Survivalist adds up to plus 15% health at 3 pips, and Cornered Rat offers plus 9 leadership at 3 pips, and remember, leadership is a bit of a concern here. Finally, at the end of this line, the only real skill line to be had is Slippery, the active ability offering 25 seconds of plus 25% speed and plus 24 melee defense. What don't you see? An active skill to increase damage. There isn't one. So how do you use the Banshee? Well, besides the map actions, seriously, there's only 2 reasonable ways to use the Banshee. One is the right way, as an anti-character assassin with enormous consistency, and really heavily tilted toward the attack. While there's no special anti-large bonus, there's also no penalty to doing so, and the full armor piercing helps compensate for the huge number of characters with armor as a result of mount options. The wrong way, which might still be right depending on circumstances, is to roadblock cavalry or monsters, simply not equipped to deal with an ethereal target. They'll waste a lot of damage, and waste even more with knockdown effects. Simply not being able to disperse the Banshee might cost them valuable time, and positioning you will make them pay for. Just keep in mind that you want to be choosy about what magical bombardments you send in. Of course, the disastrous way to use the Banshee is against sustained magical attack, ripping it to shreds due to that 0 armor value. Sisters of Avalorn come to mind. So, keeping in mind this is another hero in need of a pass whenever updates are made to the faction, this is still a blank slate for items you might slap on to increase effectiveness further. Frostbite enhances its tar-pitting ability further, and basically you can find cheeky ways to make use of this unit. Finally, well, its offerings are of a different, more chilly flavor than a White King, but this character is an effective and productive member of a goon squad. And also the max target damage of 3 infantry-sized targets with this much boosting weapon strength means that they'll do north of 100 armor-piercing damage if they connect with all 3 potential targets. What can that kill? Let's say 3 Chaos Warriors at once. It takes a while, sure, but don't tell me it doesn't add up. Sometimes, reliably killing entities is worth a lot more than half damaging a lot of them. If you don't have other sources of damage going in, and there's no help for the Chaos Warriors, the Banshee goes in, spends a few minutes on the task, and all of a sudden there's a pile of heavily armored corpses around her. Cool. Or ice cold. So, while the matchups can run good or horribly bad, the potential to reduce powerful units to futility is quite there. And one thing about the splash damage, doesn't matter what kind of splash damage anyone has, if you're fighting a character, the damage stops at the first character struck. So splash isn't an issue when you're actually dueling. Take care and have fun taking out your opposition the spooky way.